Being an empowered Catholic wife is about standing in the fullness of your feminine genius. It's about letting go of control, offering reverence to your husband, and focusing on your own sanctification. Welcome back, my friends. Today, we're answering a question, one that is especially meaningful for us as women of faith. What is an empowered wife? I hear many husbands aren't particularly excited about their wife becoming empowered because they feel more conflict. For a Catholic wife, this isn't about worldly control. It's about embracing the dignity of your vocation and becoming a channel of Christ's love and grace in your home. The empowered wife is a woman who, rooted in her faith, feels powerful in her vocation and respects the headship of her husband. She recognizes that marriage is a sacrament, and she strives to reflect the grace. She is connected to her own holiness to God, and she trusts his plan, and she knows how to attract her husband's love through virtue, reverence, patience. So let's look at how this plays out in daily life. I want to show you the difference between a disempowered reaction driven by worldly fear versus an empowered, faithful response driven by the Spirit. The first scenario is when your husband comes home late. Yeah, you've got dinner ready, everything's getting cold, and you're rather frustrated. Where have you been? This is so disrespectful. You always prioritize work over your family. Fine. I guess I'll just eat by myself. Don't worry. I can carry this whole family on my own. Can you hear the passive aggressiveness in there? Honestly, you're so thoughtless. You act like a single man, right? That's not going to be communication that brings them closer. In fact, in those moments, we've lost all our patience and we're really focused on judging his actions and not listening or being a safe place for him. Instead, an empowered wife might take pause and say a prayer before, right? Asking God for help. And instead, greet him patiently with, "Hi, honey. Welcome home. I missed you. I'm glad that you're home safely. I was getting worried." And then offering up a prayer, right? That God can give you the grace to be patient in these times. Because an empowered wife practices patience and charity. She recognizes her true power lies not in controlling his schedule, but offering up her suffering and extending Christ-like love and trust. In the second scenario, there's a disagreement about finances. He wants to make a big purchase, and you disagree. And you're worried more about the family's security. So, your controlling, prideful response would be, "No, we are not buying that. It's too much money. I've been managing the budget, and you're wrong. I really forbid this. This is why I have to manage everything. You clearly can't handle the responsibility." That's a ridiculous idea. You're so irresponsible. Can you hear the disrespect in that? And this is the temptation to rely solely on our own human wisdom, forgetting divine providence and that God does want to take care of us. Now, a more empowered response would be to listen intently, practice humility. "Well, that's an interesting idea, Annie. Yeah, I trust your judgment, and I'd love to hear more about your reasoning for this investment." See how you're kind of going, you're leaning in? Yeah. And then later you could express, "You know what? I feel a little nervous about that purchase right now because I've been focused so much on our savings goals. So, but I trust you to make a good decision because I know that you always take good care of our finances." Hear the spouse-fulfilling prophecy in there? The empowered wife humbly respects her husband's God-given role in the family while still expressing her concerns with love. She trusts his competence and ultimately places her faith not in the bank account, but in God. The third scenario is when you feel unappreciated. Many women express frustration with this, right? "I do everything around here. You never even notice what I do. You don't appreciate me. Why do I bother serving such a selfish family?" She's focused on what she's going to get back, right? Not the gift of giving. "I feel like your maid, not your helpmate." Disrespect. Here we're forgetting that our service is a sacrifice of love, just as Christ served the church. So instead, if we switch to a more empowered approach, "You know what, honey? I think I need to spend an hour at adoration tonight to refill my spirit. I'd love to get to go. Would that be okay?" See how she's not blaming. Instead, she's asking for what it is that she needs, even making a request, right? Honey, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed today, and I could really use your help with the kids' bath time. Would you be willing to take that on for me? It's specific, it's direct, and it's trusting his capacity. An empowered wife is nourished by the sacraments and by prayer, recognizing that her service is a reflection of agape love. She knows how to ask for help with humble vulnerability and prioritizes her spiritual health so she can serve from a place of joy, not depletion. Being an empowered Catholic wife is about standing in the fullness of your feminine genius. It's about letting go of control, offering reverence to your husband, and focusing on your own sanctification. This is the road to sainthood. It is, and it's okay. It's a beautiful journey. When you radiate this faith, virtue, and trust, you create a haven of grace in your home that draws your husband into closer communion with you and with Christ. If you want to transform your marriage into the sign of God's love it was meant to be, subscribe to my channel and let's look at the virtues, right, that are going to help us to practice these skills. I'm Coach Carol, and I'm standing for you. God bless your day.